Hello everyone, this is our last video in our Welcome to Kindergarten series. Today we're going to be talking about creative exploration and how to be creative with something very simple, using paper. Paper looks pretty plain and simple, but you can do so many amazing things with paper and be super creative using your imagination and just very few supplies. The supplies that you'll be needing today for this specific activity will be scissors that are in your package that you got on Monday, crayons, glue, and any paper that you may have around the house. Now I have different colored papers here, but you can use newspaper if you have, or flyers, just plain white paper, whatever you have in the house. And that's the great thing about this, is that you don't have to go shopping for any of these materials. Just look for what you already have in your house. So I thought, you know what? The sun has been shining a lot lately and it's been warming up a little bit out there, and so soon enough we're going to start to see things that are going to be coming out of the ground. So what kind of things come out of the ground when the sun starts to shine and you get some nice warm weather, and we've had a little bit of rain lately. So soon enough you're going to see plants coming out and different types of flowers that might start to bloom. And so spring, the season that we're now in, has really inspired me to create this activity. So what I thought would be really fun to do is maybe if we do a craft using flowers, that might encourage the flowers outside to come out even sooner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this colored paper right here, and I'm just going to place it down in front of me right now. And what I've done ahead of time is I've just cut some strips of paper. Now you can either have someone at home do this for you. You can actually just use a regular piece of paper as well. And we're going to use this to tear pieces of paper off. So if you already know how to use scissors, you can use scissors for this activity, and I'll show you again how to use them. I showed you in my last video, but scissors are a really tricky thing to learn how to use. And sometimes because your hands are small and the scissors are so big and your muscles are still trying to develop in your hand, again, those muscles are things that are inside here that help us move our hands and eventually learn how to write and do lots of interesting things with. We need to learn how to hold scissors, and that takes a long time. It's not something that you could just pick up and learn how to do right away, and if you do, great, that's amazing. But we have these scissors that have been included in your package, and one way that you can try and learn how to use them is to place your thumb inside one of those holes of the scissors. Now my hands are a little bit bigger, so I can only fit my 2 fingers in here. You might be able to fit more inside, but this is what it should look like. So you have your thumb inside one side and a couple of fingers in the other, and then just try and open and close them. This is like an activity in itself, just learning how to hold a pair of scissors. Now if this is way too tricky for you and you're not ready for this step yet, guess what? All you need is these, your fingers. So you could take a piece of paper and just pinch off little pieces of paper, as many as you like. And I'm going to use different colors and just tear off little pieces, all different sizes. You can have some smaller ones. You could take off a big chunk if you want. And if you do know how to use these fancy scissors, you can just cut off different strips of paper with your scissors. So you could try both too. You can pinch some off and you can cut some. And the fun thing about this is it doesn't matter how you do it. You can use any kind of shape or any kind of way of actually tearing up these papers, and it doesn't matter. In the end, you're going to have, let's see if I could show this here, a bunch of strips of paper that have been cut up into little pieces or torn up into little pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these pieces of paper to try and create a flower. Now, something you might want to do, I would say go outside and look for flowers, but right now there's probably not a lot of flowers out there. So maybe if you can get someone at home to help you look at some pictures of flowers online. Maybe you have some flowers in your house. I just bought some fresh flowers the other day from the store to just bring some of that spring inside of my house. But take a chance to look at what different flowers look like and decide how you might want to make your own. So you're going to need the glue that came in your bag so that you can stick these pieces of paper that we've just torn up and create a flower. So again, if you have a picture of a flower to look at to help you figure out what that might look like, or you could just use your imagination or your memory from what you remember a flower to look like. So I'm going to start off by, in the very middle of a flower, there's usually kind of a round circle in the middle. And so I'm just going to maybe take this piece of paper and tear it a little bit more so that it's a little more round. And sometimes the middle of a flower might be yellow, but I'm going to just use the colors that I have here to make it my very own. And so I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm going to add some glue to the back of it. And then I'm going to stick it on my paper. I'm just going to turn this up a little bit. Again, if this is tricky for you, you know what? The best part of these crafts is just getting a little messy. As long as you clean it up afterwards. That's important as well. So I'm just going to show you, I'm going to place this directly onto my paper, and that's the middle of my flower. And now I'm going to go around my flower. Do you know what those things are called that come out of the flower? And they're all different colors and they're very, very beautiful and very delicate. Those are called petals. If you guessed petals, you are correct. So now I'm going to take the papers that I cut and I'm going to try and create some petals coming out from the middle of my flower. So I'm going to add one there. And just go around the middle of my flower and add more pieces of paper to it. I'm going to add this one here. I think the flower that I might be making right now reminds me of what I just bought, which is a carnation. So all flowers, they're incredible. They have many different shapes, many different colors. And have you ever smelled a flower? The flowers smell amazing. So there I've added another one on there and now it's starting to look a little more like a real flower. And again, if you think, oh, I don't know which piece of paper to use and I don't know if it's the right shape, it doesn't matter. You are making your own creative flower and you can rip the paper a little bit more if you think that it might make your flower look a little bit nicer. There we go. And I'm going to add one more petal to my flower. I'm just going to add that. I think I might turn it around here. Okay. It almost looks like a sun, actually. So what I'm going to do next is, if I find my cap here, I'm going to use my crayons that are in my Welcome to Kindergarten package. And I'm going to create a stem for my flower. I'm just going to turn this around here. And so at the bottom, I've left a little bit of a space and that's where I'm going to draw my stem because that's what grows out of the ground. This is usually the first part that comes out of the soil and starts to get bigger and bigger. And then you get a little bit of a bud and then it opens up and it blooms. And sometimes you might have a leaf that comes out of that flower stem as well. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of a leaf. There we go. So I have a little more added a little more detail to my flower. And then if you want, you can start adding to the rest of your picture. Take a look outside your windows or go for a walk outside and see what type of things you find out in nature. This morning, I was actually having my coffee and I was sitting in my living room and I saw something run by my window and I looked outside and it was a baby deer. It was absolutely incredible. It was running around and having such a good time. Its tail was flopping all over the place. So maybe you might want to draw an animal on here, but what I'm going to do, I actually might add a little bit of grass at the bottom of my picture here. The grass is slowly starting to green up a little bit outside. And especially with the rain that we've been having lately, we should have a little more grass coming up over the next few days. There we go. And then what I'm going to do now, my paper is yellow, so I'd like to make a sun, but because my paper is already yellow, I'm just going to draw a circle for my sun there. And then I'm going to draw the rays coming out, and I don't need to color it in because it's already the color of the sun. See, my paper's yellow, so I could just do it like that. What else might you see out in nature? If you look up in the sky, what do you see sometimes floating around in the sky? Sometimes they're white and fluffy. If you said clouds, you are right. I'm going to draw a big fluffy cloud here. But it's not near the sun, so it's a nice sunny day. It's just gonna float on by. And then maybe some birds. Birds fly around. I've seen a lot of those around lately, having lots of fun. Flying around in the sky. And there are so many different things that you can add to your picture, but using the theme of spring and flowers and nature and whatever materials you have in your house. If you have different materials too that you would like to add to this, some recycled materials, you know, maybe go into your recycling bin, ask permission from your parents, maybe have some cardboard and things that you want to add to your picture. It doesn't have to look exactly like this. The idea behind this activity is that we want to encourage you to be creative, use your imaginations, look around your house and see what kind of art supplies that you have. I chose to do a spring theme with flowers, but if you have another idea that you'd like to share with us, we would love to see it. We have been really excited to see some of the videos and pictures that you have posted on your Seesaw account or through your email, and we are really excited to spend some more time learning with you next year in kindergarten. We hope you've had a great week, and we look forward to many more adventures of learning with you. So thank you so much for taking part in this wonderful not back to school, this wonderful activity of just getting prepared for your experience in kindergarten. And we hope you have a great day. Thank you.